Hi, it's Joy, and today I'm going to be watching the Season 3 finale, Season 3, Episode 8 of The Witcher, The Cost of Chaos, which Ciri may well be paying. We're all going to be paying because chaos has been raining down upon the world. I am stressed. It is a bittersweet feeling that this is the Season 3 finale, knowing it is the last of this iteration of Geralt, but this show has meant the world to me since I started watching it. I adore Ciri, I adore Yennefer, I adore Jaskier, and of course their respective actors, and the entire cast is phenomenal. I have loved the storytelling throughout this show. I am excited to see where it goes next. I am also fucking stressed because of where we are at in the plot. So yeah, without further ado, the unedited versions are on my Patreon, and let's go. You need to heal, Geralt. Ciri needs you.
You're sure this one deserves your help?
Let us decide that. Same as we decided for you, and the Scoia'tael you've asked us to take in.
What are we gonna do, Geralt? Help me up.
Imagine if it's not Ciri, if it's like one of the girls that Vilgefortz has been manipulating and Ciri's actually just elsewhere.
And you won't get better unless you let us help you. You need more healing waters and plenty of rest. Grouse?
Yes, for Ciri.
Give me the damn grouse.
Are you alright?
Jaskier loves him so much.
Pack up, we leave in the morning.
At least he's moving. He's sitting up.
Visibly oozing first.
Oh,
No
Geralt.
shape to walk across the forest, much less the continent.
This won't help Ciri.
Protecting her, protecting his family, it's who he is. I have to kill him to stop him, and even in this sorry-ass state, I'm pretty sure he could snap me like a toothpick, so no.
I do think he needs more resting.
If he needs my help,
Oh,
he has it.
I love you,
So you're
Jaskier.
both fucking... Cause you'd be dead now.
You need to be in the best shape to help Ciri. I adore him for the impulse, but I'm also like, I don't think right now he's fit because I don't want time. And then does Ciri have time? Oh no, I don't like this. No, thank you. My three together, please.
He's taking her to Emmy.
Listen, the tribunal wants to patter on about peace talks. If Ciri's siding with Nilfgaard,
She's not siding with
we're
anyone.
obliged to join.
What happened here?
Vilgefortz.
Do we not see it? Who Vilgefortz really was?
Some of us did.
Well, you didn't tell anyone.
Must reverse the spell. Sane and evil.
Okay, so Tissa's doing alright. I thought she'd like aged as well, but she's just grey-haired.
To get as far away from here as possible.
It's not your fault, Tissa.
if you like.
You simply propped up the man.
Save your sanctimony. I know I failed, but so did you.
It's
Go
the
ahead, run
truth.
back to Tretogor, but do...
And I can trust Dijkstra.
Yeah, like I trusted Vilgefortz.
Ooh.
That is the problem with trust.
We fight to make sure this never happens again.
Yennefer's grown so much. Has she told Francesca the truth? Because if she hasn't, she's not exactly loyal to Francesca. Though I suppose perhaps they're just working with Nilfgaard while it suits their aims to try and get closer to Ciri themselves.
I guarantee you won't regret it, my lord.
Power plays upon
And
power
thank
plays
you
with zero
For
trust.
recognizing that we delivered.
The old, the sick, the ones who cannot fight, but the Scoia'tael, they stay with us. They know the land so well. They are an effective force in the north.
You mean a dispensable one?
What did you think when you got into bed with him?
This is not where you promised we'd be.
Nope.
Examples must be made.
Fuck.
I'm truly sorry. Because I know how much you like Philippa. But someone's got to pay.
Sticking together man to man. Now, Philippa just makes such a point of how much they trust each other and they love each other, and what is he going to do in this situation? I know he doesn't have all the time in the world to heal, but he needs to take some. I'm just scared he's pushing himself too quickly.
You'd be dead now. Go back to bed, Witcher.
You cannot help Ciri if you're not. He's writing him a song. Fully healed.
tagging along to get one more song out of him when he dies.
Oof.
How dare you?
Not
I would
true.
milk his death for like 3 songs and maybe an epic poem. So
I like that her words don't faze him. He loves Geralt, and he also knows he can't stop him, but he needs to be
You're
stopped.
useless.
Just because you're hiding from the world doesn't mean that I have to.
I know, Geralt, but you do need to heal. Oh. You're not ready, sweetheart, and I know how much you want to be.
Whatever they did to you, I hope they pay.
Like the world works that way.
It truly doesn't. Our world either.
Cared about the movement of troops. Since I became responsible for the death of each and every soldier.
It's not true.
His war was inevitable. When I came to our too, so if a sorceress fell pregnant, she was kicked out. Divided loyalties. Said the men. So I made them take us seriously.
Fuck.
Tom, it was never about clearer access to chaos. It was about getting a seat at the table. And the Brotherhood, they called me bold.
Fuck.
I was just desperate.
Very emblematic of the steps women have had to take to prove themselves.
Stop it. Look, spare me the self-loathing bullshit. This feeling sorry for yourself and letting Vilgefortz make you question who you are.
Listen to
This
Yennefer.
isn't you. I've survived because of your faith. You were the strongest force I've ever known.
Exactly, listen to Yennefer. I do love their
Remember your
dynamic.
strength. You are our mother, and we need you. I need you.
Keep that spark inside of you to say it. Yennefer will keep it going for you if you need, but you can do it too.
And often that trade
To
leads us
say
to
it.
dark places.
I'm very worried
There
about
are
Tisea
always
right
bright
now.
spots, and I would love to see you through the next leg of your journey.
Oh, Tisea, what are you gonna do?
I know you will do great things, my daughter. I cannot.
Yes,
There
you
is a
can.
cost I must pay. Is die.
Oh god. Didn't need to do that. Yennefer. There was nothing you could have done to stop this. That is just so horrible, like, for Yennefer to lose her mother like that. And in the exact same way she once tried to take her own life as well. Like, it just, there are so many other ways to say it could have done it. She should have clung to Yennefer. And I know mental health isn't that simple, but I'm genuinely kind of half expecting when we find that, because we haven't seen Ciri this whole episode, that when we see this carriage that's carrying her, it's going to be some other girl that he's made think she's Ciri. It's gone to Geralt without him because she needs him too, without Ciri even.
Yeah, you came.
It's me.
He needed you as well.
I'm so sorry. I don't have her.
It's my fault.
No, it's not. It's neither of your faults.
The
Neither
late
of you.
Vilgefortz made me. I couldn't protect her.
You gave everything. You needed each other right now.
I know it's not fair, but I'm so angry with her.
Of course you are.
Who do we have now?
It doesn't mean you don't love her, and it doesn't mean you don't. Your heart isn't broken for what she was going through when she made that decision, but of course you're going to be angry with her for doing it. And you love her.
You yet. I will find Ciri. Those mages can't do this without you.
Their families should get to be together.
I need you, Geralt.
Our family will find its way back to each other. I love them so much, and I want this family to get to be together.
Well, I have a new plan for Redania. Your Grace. You'll see.
I'd want to know what that plan was.
You'll see. Finally found something that suits me. Someone. And he needs my help.
What is your job gonna be, sir?
Demands accountability.
Is he gonna kill himself? Yeah.
I knew I could trust you with my life. But not my strategy.
What?
I've made plans to protect us both.
What do you mean?
I'm glad he came through for her. Yeah, I did think this prince was not long for the world, and that technically means Rogovid is the king now, right? But he's fleeing, so is he going to be made king? And just when he was about to go and leave and find Yaskia, oh. Or hopefully he'll make it and won't be murdered. I mean, this king was only alive because those two kept him that way.
Sacrificed too much already.
What are you saying?
He got to her.
I'm gonna take Amir's deal.
Francesca be under his service again.
Tell her he killed her baby.
Out of this place. Out of this
Then she'll burn the place down.
Home is where my people are safe, Fringilla. Not in some
She's starting to look for realities.
Unknown powers.
I said no.
Tell her about.
All humans are brutal.
Tell her about her baby.
He's a liar. Do you know they had your baby killed, and then you tried to set me up for it?
You should have told her that sooner. That was a mistake to tell her in that manner.
Amir killed our
child. That was not how you should have told her.
And so I told him that your baby was...
She's telling her the truth now.
It was a way of keeping you here, to keep us fighting. Can't undo what I've done.
You should have told her the minute you came back to her.
He deserves to suffer just as you have. We can do that. One child for another. You get eternal peace for the elves. We can do that. You just have to.
Don't touch me.
You, Fringilla, you should have told her the minute you came back to her.
Meaning of suffering.
Yeah, you did just give a nuclear bomb.
But he will.
New targets.
And so will you.
Because Fringilla didn't know he'd done it until he arrived. So she technically hadn't ever lied to Francesca's face about it until she came to side with Francesca. And telling her like that was the stupidest way to tell her.
Our enemies will capitalize on this tragedy, say we are leaderless.
Yeah, Philippa is brutal. Because Dijkstra was still weirdly loyal to the king. Like, the king was an idiot. The king was only in power because of him. And yet he was still... I know that, like, in this sort of a world, you do truly believe in the power of, like, oh, you gotta believe what the king says, etc. But the king should earn that.
It is our great fortune. Radovid is back safely with us.
Alan Radovid is straight.
Mighty of heart.
He wanted to go and be a travelling bard's companion.
King Radovid.
The last thing he ever wanted. Because he's starting to see just how devious Philippa is. Good luck, Radovid. At least you can, you know, put it back together. It will never be the same. But it's all fixable. Triss could lead this place.
I brought us back here to make good on the promise of never letting this happen again.
Yes.
Arethusa is gone. The future of magic has never been more unstable.
You can build it back to be better than it ever
The most dangerous
was.
mage we've ever seen has the most powerful source this continent has ever known. The old guard is gone. It's up to us.
I honestly think this would be a much healthier future for magic and mages. I think it's kind of how Yaskia processes and quiets his mind is writing songs. Like, obviously the reason he initially became friends with Geralt was because he was like, hey, I could write good songs about you, but that is long since past. But at this point, it's kind of, I know a lot of people when they're into like writing music or whatever, it's how they soothe themselves as well. So like, he's going through all this stress, and if he can just put it into, if he can focus all of his energy into the song, he's not thinking about everything else.
Interrupt an artist when he is in a state of numinous flow.
Ooh. Dara?
I recognize you. Tell her I forgive her. And that I'm sorry.
Okay, good. I was gonna say, like, Ciri didn't do anything that wrong, but yeah, it was a mess. All of it. We haven't seen Ciri this whole time. Is Ciri not going to be the person in the carriage?
Oh, come on. Look at him. Sorry, buddy. Just be gentle with him.
It was quick.
It won't be as powerful.
Gaskia!
Let's sharpen the senses.
I like that he's actually preparing. He's not running in blind. He's healed himself properly, and now he's going to practice, train, and fighting to see how he's doing. Because if he goes in there at half strength, it's not going to be good for anyone.
You'd be dead now.
Yeah.
I mean, he's in much better shape than he was, so I'm okay with this. I'd love him to stay for longer, but I don't think we have that time. Oh lord, is it actually going to be Ciri? And is he actually going to meet her for the first time in public? He's not going to do like a private, it's me, your dad, hey. And if it is her, that's not Ciri. If it is her, she's been mind possessed. Whoever it is has definitely been like controlled.
You are where you belong.
Yep. This poor baby. So does that mean Vilgefortz just has Ciri someplace else? As in Nilfgaard have got what they wanted because he wanted Ciri, and Vilgefortz has got what he wanted because he actually has Ciri? Or does that mean Ciri has escaped and he's just used his plan B? He hasn't proclaimed her as his daughter either. I've been thinking so much about things, and so basically, was the whole hedgehog story kind of a lie? Was he usurped from the Nilfgaardian throne, pretended to be somebody else? The hedgehog curse obviously was kind of real. Then I always found the hedgehog story a little bit creepy in that he watched her, like she was his child surprise, and he watched her grow up, and then they fell in love. Like that was always weird to me. But I was kind of willing to suspend belief. But now you have this whole other angle on it, and the more you think about it, the more you're like, he groomed her, didn't he? Oh my god, I've forgotten her name. Ciri's mum. Like, he groomed her as she was growing up, made her fall in love with him, so it was true love. That broke the curse. That gave him the child that was the 10th generation. Maybe he hoped the mother was going to be the one, and then when she wasn't, he was like, well, we're going to need a kid. And now he wants to use Ciri for whatever his purposes are. Like, that whole thing was about getting the 10th generation, right? Knew it wasn't going to actually be our dear Ciri, but now my question is, where is Ciri? Is Ciri somewhere randomly safe?
Blondie. Blondie.
Who has her?
Finally awake.
Pass off.
I mean, this man is our best bet. Don't underestimate our girl.
You get it?
Girly girl, my team.
So you're not completely useless.
Having a party without the rest of us?
The fuck is she?
Son of a bitch.
Ciri is making new friends.
Hey, Trouble.
It's the woman. Why on earth was she with Ciri where we were before? Ciri, I love you.
Let's see how you do against a human.
She's never done that against a human before. Don't. I mean, give up now, sir. Oh, Ciri. Oh, Ciri. It's the first time she's ever killed a person. I'm not for sure I like Ciri's new friends. I mean, he wasn't a good person, but...
For your troubles.
Yeah.
Friend.
Geralt,
We'll do anything for Ciri, and Ciri's not even there.
Just keep walking.
It's not Geralt.
Geralt.
Why? We now know what it means to need, to love. to lose it all. Neutrality be damned.
Yep.
We are no longer afraid.
Never lost, always found. They're currently not looking in the right place for Ciri, but that's gonna be fine. I mean, as the third 300th Nilfgaardian soldier, just give up. She's come to join?
I know.
You'd be dead.
I'll be dead now. I will free Ciri. Understand?
I mean, that sweet girl does also, Tamarin, or whatever her name was, does also deserve to be freed.
I know in my heart, Geralt, you will find Ciri.
Yeah.
And I will make sure there's a safe world for her to return to.
That sort of team family.
And if we must face...
He didn't even take it back. He's moved on from it.
We will. But we will be the last to fall. Of that I am sure.
None of you are falling. Ciri.
Tell you it's gonna feel bad. Taking a life. But it doesn't.
We gotta go.
Is she alone? She can use a sword.
Call me Falca.
Ride, Witcher, ride.
I can't wait to listen to the soundtrack. Okay, this was quite a finale. The entire episode, the fact that we didn't see Ciri on her journey to Nilfgaard, I was like, it's just one of his replacements, isn't it? And it's just going to be unrelated from the end of the previous episode. It's interesting, Emir does not seem to know. Now, obviously, he has not seen his daughter since she was a baby. I'm guessing he doesn't know this is a decoy. There is a small chance that he would know it wasn't really her, but for his political ambitions, it was enough. But I feel like he's going to be pretty furious if anyone who ever worked in the Cintram Palace is like, I've never seen that girl before in my entire life. Who is that? I mean, I think they killed everyone that worked in the Cintram Palace, but I don't know, somebody who would potentially know who she is, being like, I don't know who that girl is. Now, I have a feeling, obviously, should Geralt ever make it to Nilfgaard before he realizes Ciri is in fact not in Nilfgaard, he will still want to help this girl because she needs it. It breaks my heart as well because we left her somewhere where we thought she'd be safe. So what happened to them? To the healer that knew his mother and her werewolf friend? Are they okay? Why did Talon, or whatever her name was, how did she end up back in Vilgefort's possession? You know, I almost thought it was going to be a different girl, another girl with long hair that was blonde that they made to look that way, or whether it always had. And, you know, Vilgefortz had done it another time. But it's the same girl, so now I'm just like, how did he get her back, and how terrible is that? She does deserve to be saved regardless. No one should be kept in Nilfgaard. And the main reason I feel like she deserves to be safe is not only because I don't know what Vilgefortz has planned for her beyond just what he's already done, which is erasing her identity and trying to make her think she's Ciri, but it's also when the White Flame finds out she's not Ciri, which he will do inevitably at some point, what's he going to do? Now, if he only wanted Ciri for her political power, it wouldn't really matter whether it was Ciri or not, because she looks alright, the people have accepted it's her, he's got his claim to Sintra through her, all that really matters is that she exists. But when you know the Elder Blood side of things, the prophecy side of things, the fact that he seemed to groom, oh my god, I know her mother's name, it's bothering me, the fact that he groomed a young girl in order to get this child, and then he's got one that isn't his child, it's definitely going to be not enough for him. Whereas if I feel like the Redanians had been handed a decoy Cirilla, for their aims, that's all they needed. They wanted access to Sintra, to cut off Nilfgaard, and to also just claim more land for themselves. Job done. Everything's great. So I am concerned for her going forwards, because she's not Ciri, and the consequences for that are probably not going to be small. But I also feel like this poor girl has already been through so much. I don't know what help there can be for her at this point. Vilgefortz, I'm glad he is visibly scarred. I'm guessing he just simply ended up somewhere different to Ciri, could not get his hands on Ciri, and so that was his backup plan. We still don't know what his ultimate aim is. He has said he does not work for the White Flame, so it's not like he just believes in what the White Flame is doing. He has his own aims, and I don't know what those are. Also in Redania, I mean, King Visimir, whatever his name is, he was always going to die. He was a bit stupid to think that he could. I am glad Dijkstra didn't try to kill Philippa, oh my god, I almost forgot her name as well, because they did seem to have a very real bond. And when push comes to shove, even you can pick your life over the life of someone you love. That isn't, I mean, it's the worst choice you'll ever have to make, but it is a choice people might make. And I love that from the beginning of the episode when they were like, can you really trust that he loves you? And he did pick himself to die and to save her. And then Philippa being like, great, I can trust you, but also I fixed everything for us. Getting rid of the stupid king, putting the one that we can definitely control. Now, poor old Radovid, he was ready to abandon his princely lifestyle, sell his cloaks, and run around being Yaski's boyfriend, I presume was the job he wanted. Now that is, you know, a big sacrifice, very different lifestyle to the one he's been living. I mean, Yaskia doesn't exactly rough it, but he also doesn't live it up like a prince. So it shows you that he truly has formed a bond for Yaskia and that maybe felt alive for the first time, and that going forwards, I feel like he is potentially somebody we can trust. I'll be more trusting, although he was technically misleading Yaskia to begin with. But as king, this is obviously a job he never wanted. He said he wasn't a particularly good prince. I don't think he's going to be a particularly good king. I definitely don't think he's going to be particularly good at providing heirs. I mean, how many people throughout history have been forced into that role, regardless of that fact? The only thing we can hope is that he does have a sense of right and a sense of wrong, and that he will try to do the right thing instead of just doing whatever is best, you know, for his own personal power, that maybe he will keep what he's learned through knowing Yaskia and through everything and try and do the right thing for everyone. With him as king, I mean, I wouldn't want him to marry Ciri, but I almost feel like if we could get Ciri into Redania, she might actually be kind of safe, because he would hopefully look out for her because he cares about Yaskia and their family, and I'm stressed. Yennefer going to Geralt was everything. To say a dying, I kind of felt that one coming, but I'm cross with her, and I don't blame Yennefer for being cross with her. I mean, in general, suicide is such an awful topic, and you don't actually blame the person for doing it, because of course you don't, the way their brain was, but it is such a natural emotion to be angry at them, because nobody else took them, they took themselves from you. But it's the kind of anger where at the end of the day, you're just angry in general, it's not really at them. It's at them and it's not, and you love them, and that's what it is. It just breaks my heart that Yennefer was the one to find her, to feel it in her own scars, and that she took her life the exact same way she once stopped Yennefer from trying. You know, there are potions, there are poisons, there are spells, she's up a freaking high tower. There were so many ways she could have taken her life, and I hate that it was the way that Yennefer herself once tried, and that Tissaia was the one to stop her. Because Yennefer will always think, could I have done more? If I had stayed with her, if I had insisted we walk down together, could I have given her a more inspiring speech? Could my love for her have been better? If I'd been better, would she have stayed? And the answer is no. She was broken by the sense that she failed the institution she gave her entire life to, that she sacrificed so much for, that she caused so much pain in trying to make something worthwhile, and it all came to nothing. But it breaks my heart to see that happen, and I really wish there had been a different ending for her character. I almost genuinely, I do wish that simply the spell she was casting had killed her, because then at least I feel like she died saving people. But it's also quite a realistic consequence of war, is people losing themselves to it and not seeing a way through. But it breaks my heart for Yennefer to have gone through that and to have lost her mother figure right now when everything's falling apart. Though I do feel like this young group of mages, being the ones who are leading Aretuza to a new age, leading the teaching of young mages to a new age, could actually be very beneficial. The continent, no matter what, is going to look different. And it's really funny because it's sort of like Ciri is the one who, like, she's destined to end the world. But simply the hunt for Ciri is already doing that. Without Ciri lifting a finger, things are changing to never be the same. Aretuza will never be the same. The kingdoms will never be the same. The reach of the mages will never be the same. I mean, it will grow again, I think. With good leadership, they will grow again. But I have to think it will be a kinder world. Again, politics will inevitably work. If Aretuza and mages get back up and running again in a new form, it will one day end up being just as political and just as everything as it was. I'm not saying it's going to be a utopia, but I think they will stop demanding that they give over for their ability to have children, because that was nonsense, and now we learn to say I just came up with it to try and prove that women were strong enough to be part of it. I feel like that's very metaphorical for throughout history, the way women have had to give up parts of themselves in order to be seen as strong and seen as good enough by men. And it's kind of the same way that part of Elizabeth I's strength of being queen was that she was the virgin queen. She was married to England. A big thing of her identity was that she was, you know, like a man, she was like a man. Even Queen Victoria, as much as you look at her as she was this queen, she reigned for the second longest time of any queen in England. She thought women should be little women by their husbands. You know, she was very much, she was different, but she didn't have these feminist ideals. Throughout history, women have had to conform and change. And even, you know, men who maybe don't fit the ideal of the patriarchy have also had to sacrifice and conform. It's just all women don't fit the idea of the patriarchy. But yeah, that going forwards, we can scrap that fucking practice. And encourage healthier relationships in general. I don't know. I feel like there is hope. The problem is the world is, if it was just an isolated incident at Aretusa, I feel like they could build it back really strong. With everything else going on, they're in danger. The future of mages and the way they have known them are also in danger. But I'm hoping that they're going to be able to build something better and brighter and safer, and that Yennefer is doing that with Ciri in mind. I do also think if Geralt were to say, hey, trouble here, they would go and they would help. Yennefer and Triss in particular. I also liked that the ones that were siding with Redania, they truly were doing it because they thought they were doing the right thing, and they weren't doing a wrong thing, in a sense. Vilgefortz needed to be stopped, but maybe if they hadn't gone about it in such a covert way, this wouldn't be happening in the same way. A lot of people were responsible for what happened. Geralt continuing his training, continuing his healing. If he just rushed off before he was even properly healed, he would not have been able to help Ciri. He would have died before he got to her. The reality is sometimes you need to take that break, slow down, heal before you can keep going, even if it kills you because you want to keep going. I'm glad Jaskier was there for him. Jaskier was able to kind of give himself some solace by writing a wonderful song that I cannot wait to listen to when I buy the soundtrack. And yeah, bittersweet watching Geralt walk off, knowing that presumably he will not have the same face the next time we see him. Now, I feel like they've said there's going to be a meta in-world, something that vaguely comes from the books, reason for his appearance to change. But I was almost half expecting, obviously they had no idea when they finished filming the season that Henry Cavill wasn't coming back. I'm very intrigued about how they're going to do it, but I am willing to give Liam Hemsworth's Geralt a chance. I feel like at worst, it will be the case that I won't love Geralt, but I'll still love Yennefer and Ciri and Jaskier and the world they're in. And I will sort of, I don't think I'll hate Geralt, but you know, like, Henry Cavill does such a phenomenal job. It's just, I don't like change. So that part of me that doesn't like change is, I talked about it a lot in my previous reaction. I don't know where I stand. Now, maybe it's because I haven't read the books, maybe it's because I haven't played the games, but I think there are always going to be changes and adaptations. That is the nature of the game. That is how it happens most times. And I just think it came down to a personality clash, and that Henry Cavill had very forceful opinions about how he thought the show should be, and then the showrunners were like, well, yeah, but that's also our job, so we also should do it. I think it's a mess, basically, but I also think both sides are probably to blame to a degree, but also unless we can all go and be a fly on the wall in the past, we're never going to know. And I'm willing to give Liam Hemsworth a chance. I love the rest of the cast so much as well that even, like I said, even if I do feel like his Geralt isn't the same, I will try and, I'm going to try and be like, give him a, I'm not going to go in like prejudiced, and yeah. But I haven't finished talking about this episode. I just feel like kind of Geralt, his love, his aspiration to get to Ciri, and he's going to get to Nilfgaard, and if he even gets that far, and he's going to find out it's not her. So, Ciri. Oh, my heart is breaking for her. I'm glad she's not going to Nilfgaard, but I almost feel like she'd have been better off going to Nilfgaard. Though in order for her to so serenely walk down the aisle of the throne room like that, she would have had to have been brainwashed into doing it. So in that sense, it's good she's not there. Now, I don't think the people she's with are going to hurt her necessarily. They seem like a scrappy bunch of young people surviving in a rough place. What worries me is after all the trauma she went through in the desert, everything she went through with the fire, and she gave up her magic, and then they made her kill a man, and then she killed him, and then I feel like, you know, she was feeling it, and then she also was realizing that it kind of was easy, you know, because I think it's a messy situation, and I don't think what she said about how they say you're going to feel bad, and the thing is you don't. Now, that was a man that had abducted her, was planning to sell her to Nilfgaard, you know, he was not a great person. His death isn't like it's not like she killed a completely innocent person. And if she'd refused, one of the others would have killed him. It's not, again, in the world they live in, it was kind of a justifiable death. They were also in a fight. He was trying to kill her by that point. So yeah, she's not going to weep for forever, but I do think it will weigh on her to have done that. and the way in which it was done, and then being with these people. What scares me is that she then said her name was Falca, which obviously is the vengeful girl who burnt everything down and killed everyone she loved. And now, do I think Ciri is going to go completely evil? No. I really like that. Could make me start watching the show because I feel like that would be going against her true character. Do I think she might get tempted by the darkness a little bit, by wanting vengeance, wanting to stop feeling afraid and angry, and or give into that anger, stop feeling afraid, stop feeling like, you know, all these people are hunting her and ruining her life and destroying her life. And if she can just take the reins and mine, I will totally understand and believe that she will find her way through that out of the darkness. And I'm just hoping these people are not going to, you know, she's useful to them. They will maybe give her, you know, some food, somewhere to sleep, until she can figure out what she's doing. Yeah, I am so excited for season 4, so terrified for season 4 because I despise change. I also, you know, the end of the last season was so wonderful in the sense that, like, Ciri, Geralt and Yennefer were together, and I was so ready for that. And then they hardly spent any of this season together. Now, I'm not actually complaining about that because I think story-wise we got a brilliant amount of them together. But this season they are completely the opposite. It is completely them separated. Ciri is potentially even losing herself. Geralt is going to be a very different version of himself, and I am so stressed going into that. Stressed not in a like, oh, it's going to be bad way, stressed in a, I just want everything to be happy and wonderful. Can't we go ice skating again? This was a lot. This was intense. This was a wonderful end to this season. I am scared because I hate change. I'm also scared because I know people who are really angry about stuff with this show, but I adore this show. I adore all of these characters and these actors, and I am just thankful for the 3 seasons we've got, excited for season 4, and hopeful for more beyond that. A reminder that you can find the unedited version of all of my reactions to The Witcher on my Patreon, and thank you so much for watching.